Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aaron Blade, and I'm the editor, creator, and producer of what you're watching right now, Blade Talk. If you are new here, welcome, and you found this presentation helpful, informative, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Do me an even greater favor and subscribe to my channel. Always appreciate all the support that I am given. So, I didn't want to shortchange anyone. I've been getting a lot of questions flooding through my email. I guess preparing for the live. I'm still going to do that next month, and I'll let you all know when that comes. Maybe a week before I actually go live. But I wanted to answer a few questions that I've received via my email and comment section. Just to be able to interact with you. I'll always love answering questions. And I'm thinking about publishing presentations every Sunday. Like, I'm thinking about starting a trend that every Sunday I'll have something new for you all just to get your week started. All right. So let me know if that's something that you'll be interested in, if that's a good day for you all to watch my presentation, things like that. So that being said, without further ado, let's hit that intro and let's begin. All right, so figured I would answer a few questions because I got a crap ton in my email, and I got a little bit of free time. So, of course, I love interacting with my YouTube community. All right, so that being said, let's jump into some questions. First question. Hey, Blade. Being black and Jewish, would you say that racism is worse than anti-Semitism, or is anti-Semitism worse than racism? I'll say this. I've experienced both, and what I can tell you is that they both come from an evil place. All right? Racism is easier for a racist because it allows someone to judge you based on a skin complexion. So the way I understand it is that if you are white and Jewish, it isn't a ticket out of the cycle of oppression, right? It is a ticket out of skin color based oppression, okay? I'm not saying that white passing Jews aren't discriminated against, but that discrimination isn't based off skin color. All right. That being said, that whiteness is conditional. Okay. Meaning some don't consider Jews as white in the first place, which is why when they go to shul, or they're dropping their children off at yeshivas, or they're wearing yarmulkes or other Jewish garb and whatnot, those particular Jews usually rely on 2 sets of locked doors and an armed security guard, right? When we discuss anti-Semitism, some Jews that are white, get a pass so long as you serve the white Christian majority, right? So essentially, when you become inconvenient, when you become a little too threatening, or you are too powerful for their comfort, that whiteness essentially gets snatched away and you're just Jewish. Okay. So I don't like to compare the two evils because I wish both ideologies essentially didn't exist. Racism is a hateful ideology that is based on skin complexion, and anti-Semitism, though it isn't strictly based on skin complexion, it has the ability to adapt, right? And in my experience now in today's world, I would say that anti-Semitism is actually worse, right? Because it's built on conspiracy theories. Right now, you have college campuses at Columbia University where you have Jews afraid to go to school and get an education because there are protests being done on college campuses that they're actually attacking Jews. And it's being allowed, right? Some people will come out and condemn what these protesters are doing or pro-Hamas individuals are doing. But as far as actually sending in the police, arresting these people for violating the law, it becomes political. And some politicians want some votes of, the people that are essentially pro-Hamas or whatnot. So they're willing to tolerate it or turn a blind eye to it. Now imagine if there was a protest and it got out of hand and they started attacking someone who was black. It would end very quickly. So America has a zero tolerance for racism. There are some that slip through the cracks and whatnot. Racism isn't going anywhere, right? And I'm not oblivious to it. And there are some that turn a blind eye to it to when it's happening, right? And dealing with that is rough. But luckily, you have the media, you have the NAACP, and black people get emotional when they hear the word racism. So, it's nothing to spark that emotional outrage and whatnot. And before you know it, you'll get labeled racist and, that's it. Anti-Semitism works a little differently because it can be tolerated, right? Because the more people spew out conspiracy theories that fuel anti-Semitism, right? Jews are colonizers. Jews control the media. Jews control your fate. Jews steal people's identities. Jews hoard money. They control the economy, etc., etc. The more you throw things like that out there, the more people are essentially buying into it. So there's a new form of accepted anti-Semitism. What's going on at Columbia University wouldn't be happening if it was someone who was gay that was being antagonized. If it was someone who was black that was being antagonized. But these protesters are harassing innocent Jews. And it's taking a lot for people to even recognize that it's happening, and even more so to actually call in the police to actually arrest these individuals. Now, there are some that may say, well, it's freedom of speech and whatnot, but that is within limitations as well. Can't have hate speech. These same individuals are claiming death to America. And it's being tolerated. Death to Israel. From the river to the sea, which is a genocidal slogan. And then they're accusing Jews of committing a genocide, which again fuels anti-Semitism. So it's a lot of accepted, and certain politicians want certain votes and whatnot, so they're willing to turn a blind eye to it. Anti-Semitism, in my opinion, is more accepted than racism is in today's age, right? It's more accepted because they try to justify it by saying, well, I'm just pro-Palestinian. They can hide behind, like, I'm just anti-Zionist or whatever the case may be. They can hide behind other things to essentially, hide the fact that they're really anti-Semitic. Right. So, and then you have others that rely on those individuals' votes here in America, so it's becoming accepted. Right. Notice that when you look at the two different rallies, if you see a Jewish rally, then notice how you see that there are Israeli flags, there's the United States of America flag, nobody has a mask on, nobody's trying to hide their identity. And notice what they're chanting. And then flip to the next screen and look at a pro-Hamas rally. How everyone is hiding their face. How they're chanting death to the Jews, or from the river to the sea, or death to Israel, or death to America. And you let me know which should be more tolerated, which is peaceful and which is evil. Next question. Are Ashkenazi Jews converts from Khazar? I heard this theory from a Hebrew Israelite once. So first, a little background. Okay, I want to educate those that may not know what the Khazar hypothesis essentially is. Okay, two largest movements in Judaism or denominations are Sephardic and Ashkenazi. Okay, today's Sephardic Jews are Jews that are descendants of Jews that arrived on the Iberian Peninsula after the Babylonian and Roman Empire exiles. Okay. Ashkenazi Jews are descendants from Jews that arrived in the Danube Valley after the Roman exile. Now, there is a hypothesis dating back to the late 1800s that claimed that these events essentially didn't happen. All right. Again, another case of someone knowing our history more than we do. All right. But in any event, the claim is that Ashkenazi Jews are all descendants of the Khazars. Okay. Now, in the 600s, 600 CE, in southeast Russia, a multi-ethnic group of Turkic people founded a powerful state made up of different ethnicities. Right? This was the kingdom of Khazaria. The theory goes that in the 8th century, the Khazar ruling class converted to Judaism en masse by the instruction of their ruler. According to this line of reasoning, these Jews didn't migrate from the Roman exile to present-day France and Germany, etc., but rather from Russia and Ukraine. Now, right off the bat, there is no proof of this claim at all, right? But I'll entertain it for a bit, okay? The problem is that the kingdom of Khazaria was destroyed sometime in the late first millennium, okay? And the next time we have Jews in that area, in today's Western Ukraine and Belarus, is over 400 years later. Yeah. Additionally, DNA tests have shown a close relationship between Sephardim and Ashkenazim, as well as other Middle Eastern people. Right? DNA evidence shows no connection between Ashkenazi Jews and Khazars. So, again, there is no evidence that Jews were even in the area until 400 years after the kingdom of Khazaria fell. DNA evidence pretty much dismisses the entire idea. But to put the final nail in the coffin, the theory is also dead on arrival from a linguistic point of view, right, or linguistic perspective. The main language of Ashkenazi Jews is Yiddish, right? It shows no trace of Turkic origin. Yiddish is a Germanic language with Hebrew and Aramaic words essentially thrown in, okay? Yiddish shows, again, no trace of Turkic origin. Even the names and surnames of Ashkenazi Jews born in the last 6 centuries, as well as the Yiddish language as a whole, do not contain any links to Khazaria. Any. So, the fact that there is no evidence that we were even in the region until 400 years after the kingdom of Khazaria, DNA evidence disproves this claim or this hypothesis, and from a linguistic point of view, is dead on arrival. Next. What do Jews mean when they say Hashem? Well, in Hebrew, it literally means the name. Okay, the reason we refer to God this way is because we're not allowed to actually pronounce the 4-letter name of God. Okay, the 4 letters are Yud, He, Vav, and then another He. Okay, this is a tetragrammaton, which means that when you rearrange the letters, it gives you 3 different words. Haya, which means the past, Hove, which means the present, and Yehyeh, which means the future. Okay, when we refer to Hashem, we're not just saying that he encompasses time, but also that he transcends time. Okay, he exists in the past, present, and future simultaneously. All right, hope that answers the question. Next one. Hey Blade, I enjoy watching your channel and do so regularly. You do a great job of explaining what Judaism is. I enjoy how you explain calmly and are never disrespectful towards Christian or Muslim beliefs. I am a 63-year-old just starting on my path to conversion and wondered if you could give me advice. I have had contact with the progressive rabbi. She was the only one who would answer my mail and telephone calls. She has been very friendly and helpful. My dilemma is I am interested in the conservative movement. I live in Europe, and the progressive rabbi has even offered to arrange for me to meet other African American or African people who are practicing Jews. The thing is I am not sure if I want to convert progressive as my leanings are more conservative. Yet it is the progressive rabbi who has welcomed me. What do you suggest? Should I attend the progressive services to start with, so I at least start learning, or should I only seek to attend the conservative services? And do you think that it will be beneficial to attend Orthodox services as well? Should I attend any services that I can? So my thoughts are that congratulations, first of all, that you chose to convert to Judaism, Mazel Tov. My advice would be that, and this goes for anyone, convert halakhically. If you found a reform or more progressive rabbi, inform them that you want a conversion according to halakha, meaning a Beit Din, a Hatafat Dambrit, if you're already, the ritual circumcision, you want to go in the mikveh, etc., right? You want to do things according to halakha. And if you have that, then it doesn't matter which movement that you essentially join, right? So the thing is if you convert, reform, and you want to practice in a conservative way in your household or an Orthodox way in your household, that is perfectly fine, right? If you have determined that there is one God, the God of Israel, and you have accepted the Torah, okay, then you're already spiritually Jewish. You just need to go through and fulfill the legalities of it, and that's having a Jewish community accept you. Okay? So, for me, I always say that you should go to different ones. Go to an Orthodox one, go to a conservative, go to a reform, and see which one best fits you and your lifestyle, right? In the case where, you are in an area that only has an Orthodox or only has a Reform or only has, then go to that one. If that is more convenient to you, and say that you want to convert and convert through that particular synagogue just so you have a Jewish community. Because again, being Jewish is a team effort. Now, as terms of your observance level, the way that you want to practice, that's completely up to you. All right? You have your own ways of practicing, or your own observance levels that essentially suit you. Okay? So if you want to convert Reform, or if you want to convert Orthodox, and the only thing around you is the opposite congregation or whatever the case may be, then convert that way, and then just observe the way that you want to observe. All right. What I have found personally is that, some Orthodox rabbis reject you. And I've spoken on this before. They reject potential converts. They won't return phone calls. They won't return emails, etc. Now, some are just very busy, and I get that. But others think that they want to test your sincerity from the get-go, and it almost feels like you're begging, leaving a bunch of voicemails, or sending, countless letters, or trying to get in touch with them, or whatever the case may be, right? And it's their way of essentially rejecting a potential convert 3 times or 4 times, or whatever the case may be. Just keep in mind, again, this isn't halakhic, and I absolutely hate that some Orthodox rabbis do this. I absolutely hate. I believe that if you want to convert to Judaism, that you should be welcomed with open arms. Right? And it shouldn't take forever. Some have asked me how long a conversion should take. It's really up to you. Right? I don't share the mindset that, well, you should, know Hebrew, and you should read the Talmud, and you should do this, and then, go ahead and convert, almost trying to make you to be a rabbi before you actually convert to Judaism and be considered a Jew, right? I don't agree with that at all. Halakha actually states that, don't overwhelm a potential convert lest you turn them from a good path to a bad path, which is the same reason why I don't agree with rejecting potential converts. Right? Think about it this way. If someone were to come to an Orthodox rabbi, and that Orthodox rabbi holds the view that I should reject them to test their sincerity, right? And think about if that person already has low self-esteem, low confidence in themselves, and they're coming to you seeking, something that will make them feel better on the inside. Something is pulling them towards Judaism. And you reject them. And then they go off to, find another religion, or, sink into a deeper depression, or whatever the case may be, right? How would that make that Orthodox rabbi feel, knowing that someone came to you for help and you dismissed them? You rejected them. So I am against turning away potential converts. I believe that if more people were Jewish or considered Judaism, the world would be a better place. There's a famous rabbi that actually stated that if at the time of the Holocaust, if Germany had more converts in their families, the Holocaust would have never took place. Right? I think that Judaism needs converts, because once they convert, then that whole entire family is put on notice. Whether you're a Christian family, a Muslim family, etc., it brings more awareness to anti-Semitism, or what the Jews essentially face. Because now it's happening to someone you care about, as opposed to a stranger that you've bought into conspiracy theories about. Right? So my advice is to meet with this progressive rabbi. If she's the only one that has agreed to exchange and dialogue and whatnot, then allow her to sponsor you and start the conversion process. Right? And you're Jewish. And if you want to practice conservatively or orthodoxly, whatever you're Jewish, have at it. Right? And you have a community that essentially supports you. Right? But the world, especially in today's time, could use, more people that are considering Judaism, especially in the face of so much anti-Semitism that is going around. Right? Hope that answers your question. And again, keep me updated on your conversion process. I'd love to hear it. As far as attending other services, absolutely. Attend if you have the ability to, where there's a Orthodox shul, a conservative shul, and a Reform. Attend all of them, right? And then convert with the one that you feel that you have more in common with from a value standpoint, right? If there is only one that is returning your phone calls or whatever the case may be, then take it. Okay? Convert to Judaism and then, practice the way that you want to practice. All right? Last question. How should Noahides pray? Is it possible you could give an in-depth video on the 7 Noahide laws? Yeah, I could. I'll actually do that. I will consider making a Noahide laws presentation. All right. As far as how Noahide should pray, I'm not in the habit of telling people how they should pray, because I feel like it's your personal conversation with God. Okay. Now, if you just want standard prayers over your food and what have you, then pray the same way that the Jews pray. All right. Recite the Shema 3 times a day. Right? But the more personal prayers, as long as you aren't inputting things from other religions inside your prayer, as that's forbidden, obviously, then pray from your heart. I promise you, Hashem hears you. Right? Just make it genuine. You know what I mean? Prayer is a beautiful way to connect with Hashem, and it should be a personal one. And again, I'm not in the habit of telling people how they should pray. I would encourage people to recite the Shema 3 times a day, right? But other than that, your conversation with Hashem is a personal one, right? Just don't allow any forms of idolatry in your prayer. Don't mention Jesus or Muhammad or Joseph Smith Jr. or anyone else. It's a conversation between you and Hashem, right? So keep that in mind. And just pray with your full heart, right? If you want to pray in Hebrew, if you want to pray in English or whatever language you prefer, I promise you again, Hashem hears you. right? So, and study the Torah as well. The book of Psalms is a great place to learn and get, which is where a lot of the Jewish prayers actually come from, right? So read the book of Psalms. I promise you'll get inspiration from reading those poems. A lot of those poems have been, again, included into our prayers, right? But study the Torah. I'll say this. There are 613 mitzvot that Jews are commanded to, that we're held to essentially observe, right? Did you know that studying the Torah is equivalent to all of the other commandments combined? Right? Imagine a scale, right? You have 613 mitzvot, and then you have studying the Torah. They're on the same level. That's how important studying the Torah is. All right. Hope that answers the question. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Blade Talk. If you found this presentation helpful, informative, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Do me an even greater favor and subscribe to my channel. I always appreciate all the support that I am given. Thank you all so much. Be good to yourselves. Be good to others. And until the next episode, you all take care.